Yousef didn't just create a distraction, he created a riot. He landed on top of a supply crate, kicked a mercenary in the chest with a boot that probably cost more than the mercenaries' weekly pay, and tossed a flashbang grenade into the cluster of Pythagorean guards. Bang! White light washed out the pit. The scream of the explosion bounced off the stone walls, disorienting the SVR contractors. It was professional, efficient, and loud. I didn't watch the fight. I watched the console. I sprinted across the uneven stone of the excavation floor, dodging a confused technician who was clawing at his blinded eyes. My boots slammed against the rock, jarring my teeth, but I kept my eyes locked on the central dais. The Infinite Wormhole Inversion Constructor, the wick, was singing. A high-pitched, tooth-aching whine that meant the magnetic containment field was about to shred. The air around the machine tasted like copper pennies and ozone. I vaulted the low railing onto the dais. Mike Hockney was there, frantically tapping at a holographic interface, trying to compensate for the sudden spike in entropy caused by Stix's sabotage and Yousef's grenade. "You!" Hockney snarled, not looking up. "Get away." "The geometry is delicate. The geometry is flawed, Mike," I shouted, slamming the portable wick unit onto the console. I jammed the hardline connector into the primary data port. "You're trying to force a square universe into a round hole." Hockney shoved me, or tried to. He was a mathematician, not a brawler. I sidestepped, used his own momentum to spin him into the control railing, and keyed the sequence on my portable unit. "Accessing root command," I muttered. "Come on, you beautiful piece of junk. You don't understand." Hockney screamed, his face flushed. "We are on the verge of perfection. A reality without error, without pain, without choice," I countered, typing furiously. "A closed system creates no energy, Mike. It's Thermodynamics 101. You're not building a paradise. You're building a heat death." I brought up the command line. The machine's logic was binary, rigid, Pythagorean. It expected integers. It expected order. I was about to give it a poem. "Stix," Hockney yelled, looking past me. "Stop her. She's corrupting the equation." I risked a glance over my shoulder. Yousef was pinned down behind a generator, trading fire with 3 mercenaries, but Alex Stix wasn't shooting at him. She was walking toward the dais, that bored look gone, replaced by a shark-like focus. She held a pistol in one hand and a detonator in the other. "Perfection is boring, Mike," Stix called out, her voice cutting through the den, "but I can't let her shut it down either. I want to see what happens when the engine blows." She raised the pistol, aiming center mass at my back. "TANSTAAFL," I muttered. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. I needed time I didn't have. Suddenly, the air between Stix and me warped. A bullet sparked against nothingness. The Time Lord, the Brit in the linen suit, stepped out of the distortion field right in Stix's path. He checked his pocket watch. "Terribly sorry," he said to Stix, "but I believe this is the part where the physics gets interesting. I'd hate for you to shoot the only person who knows how to count to infinity." Stix fired again. The bullet vanished into a miniature wormhole the stranger opened with a flick of his wrist. "Show off," I grumbled, turning back to the console. I had the interface open. The machine was asking for a variable to balance the equation. Hockney had been feeding it 1. Stix had been feeding it 0. I typed in the paradox from Heinlein's Codex. Statement. This statement is false. Variable. Square root of -1. Logic. A does not equal A. I hit enter. The machine didn't explode. It hiccuped. The humming stopped. The lights on the massive ring flickered. The rotating crystals ground to a halt with the screech of tortured bearings.